Okay, if you've ever worked on an AI product, you've probably felt this, right? This weird tension where the old rules of business just don't seem to fit. And that's because AI isn't just another app on your phone. Well, it's different. It's personal. So today, we're going to dig into why building truly successful AI means we actually have to fight against our own best instincts. So why is this happening? I mean, if you're a product manager, a marketer, a leader, your gut feelings have been honed for years to find opportunities and grow the business. But now, with AI, that same gut feeling can and often does lead you completely off a cliff. It's a really common frustration, and it turns out there's a pretty specific reason why. And here it is, the core of the problem. Our companies, our processes, pretty much our entire professional muscle memory is built around the classic 4 Ps of marketing. You know them: product, price, place, and promotion. But AI isn't a traditional product you just put on a shelf. It's more like a presence in someone's life, and that demands a totally different framework, the 4 As. The author of our source material even calls our tendency to drift back to the 4 Ps a dangerous reflex. Let's find out why. All right, so let's really break this down. We're going to go piece by piece and put the old 4 Ps right up against the new 4 As. And we'll start with the very idea of a product itself. This quote, this just nails the first big shift we have to make. We are obsessed with features, with what our tech can do. But when an AI is woven into somebody's daily life, the spec sheet that actually matters isn't a list of capabilities. It's all about how it makes a person feel. So what's really fascinating here is the change from what to how. The classic product question is always, what are its features? But the AI native question is about acceptability. Does this feel intrusive? Does it feel judgmental? Or just plain creepy? Honestly, you could build the smartest AI on the planet, but if your users don't trust it, if it feels like a black box, it's dead on arrival. Okay, this next idea completely reframes how we think about value. For so long, we've thought about a single transaction, right? A one-time purchase. But an AI product is much more like a subscription, not just to a service, but to a relationship. It's this ongoing exchange, and that changes the whole economic model. Which means instead of just asking about price, we have to think about affordability. And listen, I'm not just talking about money here. Is the AI affordable in terms of a user's attention, their time, their trust? If that value isn't felt consistently, like every single day, then it doesn't matter what the subscription price is. The relationship just becomes too expensive to keep up. Oh, this is such a brilliant way to think about user experience. We're so used to thinking about how to get our product in front of people, right? We want to be in all the right channels. But with AI, the goal isn't just to be there. It's to be there frictionlessly, almost invisibly, and then get out of the way. And this slide really gets to the core of it. The old question of place was, what channels are we in? The new question of accessibility is, does this require any effort at all? Seriously, if a user has to deliberately open an app, or type a specific prompt, or, God forbid, read instructions, you've created friction. And in the AI world, friction is an absolute killer for adoption. Now, for our final comparison, this one tackles that seductive siren song of the big, flashy launch. We're all trained to make a huge splash, to generate that initial buzz. But real, lasting belief, that's not built in one loud afternoon. It's earned over time, in thousands of quiet little moments. So we have to shift our thinking from promotion to awareness. A massive launch campaign might give you a nice spike in downloads, sure, but hype is a really dangerous game. It sets these wild expectations that are almost impossible to meet, and that just leads to disappointment down the road. True awareness, the kind that creates loyalty, is built by the product just showing up and consistently delivering on tiny, honest promises of being useful. Okay. So if the 4 As are so obviously better for AI products, why is it so damn hard to let go of the old way? Why do we keep snapping back to the 4 Ps like a rubber band? Well, the answer is all about what these two frameworks give us versus what they demand from us. See, the 4 Ps, they offer this really comforting illusion of control. We get to have our roadmaps, our big launch days, our conversion funnels, our dashboards full of charts. It feels solid, it feels manageable. The 4 As, on the other hand, they demand something much, much harder: humility. They demand we let go of our feature pride, that we focus on reducing friction instead of adding stuff, and that we underpromise when the entire world is screaming at us to create more hype. So how do we actually do this? How do we put this into practice? Well, let's look at a really practical mental checklist, a new set of questions you should be asking yourself constantly when you're working on any AI product. First up, for acceptability, ask yourself this question, and don't answer as a product manager, answer as a person. Would you, personally, be okay with this technology being a constant presence in your life, day in and day out? It's a simple, visceral gut check for whether or not you've crossed a line and made something intrusive. Second, to really test for affordability and genuine value, ask this. If this service just vanished tomorrow, would your day be noticeably harder? Would you actually feel its absence? If the answer isn't a clear, immediate yes, then you probably haven't built something that's truly essential yet. Third, here's the ultimate test for accessibility. Could someone who isn't a tech person, think your parents or maybe your kids, could they pick this up and use it instantly without a single word of instruction? If it needs a manual or a tutorial, the friction is just too high. It's that simple. And finally, for awareness, a question that just cuts right through all the hype. Are the promises we're making in our marketing, are those things our product can actually deliver on quietly and reliably every single day? Because that's how you build real long-term trust, not just short-term buzz. So, wrapping this all up, what does this mean for the future? Look, the path to winning with AI is just different. It's a path that requires us to unlearn just as much as we learn. It's about shifting our whole mindset away from command and control and toward one of trust and invitation. You know, we love to use business speak like driving adoption, but this quote just flips that whole idea on its head. In the deeply personal world of AI, all the control rests with the user. They grant you a place in their life. You can't just force your way in. Adoption is a privilege, not a metric you can just push up into the right. And really, this is the core idea of this whole explainer. The future of AI isn't going to be won by the companies with the biggest models or the loudest, splashiest marketing campaigns. Nope. It's going to be won by the teams who are disciplined enough to unlearn the comforting, old habits of the 4Ps and humble enough to design for the user-centric truths of the 4As. So, I'll leave you with this question to take back to your team. Take a hard look at the old ways. Product, price, place, and promotion. Which one of those is your team's biggest blind spot right now? Answering that question honestly, that's the very first step to building AI that people won't just use but will actually welcome into their lives.